Good morning. My name is Susan Reardon. I'm the staff hearing officer, and I call the meeting of Wednesday, August 28th to order. First item on the agenda is the preliminary matters, and under that is requests for continuances, withdrawals, postponements, or ex-agenda items. And I've had no requests for changes to today's agenda, so I will hear them in the order that they appear on the agenda. Under announcements and appeals, I've had no recent appeals, but I do want to announce a new public comment procedure. There's actually no one for the public in the audience today, but anyone watching at home, instead of coming up and sitting at the table, you'll now stand over at the podium, and you'll turn in any requests to speak forms or public comment letters in the box on the table next to the SHO, the staff hearing officer secretary, and that's effective from today on. And I have no other announcements. The next item is comments from members of the public on items not on today's agenda. Seeing no one, we'll go to the first two items, which is under the consent calendar. There's two requests for one-year time extensions for tentative maps that was approved by the staff hearing officer. The first one is located at 127 West Cameron Perdido Street, and that's a request for a one-year time extension for a tentative map that was approved by the staff hearing officer on November 16th, 2011. And I've read the staff report, and I agree with staff's conclusion that the project continues to be in conformance with the city's zoning ordinance and the general plan. Therefore, I approve the requested one-year time extension. The new expiration date will be November 16th, 2019, and this approval is subject to the original conditions of approval contained in Staff Hearing Officer Resolution 045-11. And then the next time extension request is for a project located at 803 North Milpas Street, and it was a request for a one-year time extension for a tentative map and a development plan and modification, and it was approved by the City Council on appeal in March 23rd, 2010. And through various extensions through the staff hearing officer and extensions through the Subdivision Map Act, it is still valid, or is still valid at the time that an extension request was made. And I've read the staff report, and I agree with staff's conclusions that the project continues to conform to the city's adopted zoning ordinance and general plan. Therefore, I approve the requested one-year time extension to March 23rd of 2020, subject to the original conditions of approval contained in Planning Commission Resolution 04309. And that concludes the consent calendar. So we'll move to the first item on the regular agenda, and that's 1114 Del Sol Avenue, if the applicant would like to come up to the table. Good morning.
Good morning.
Anytime you're ready, Ellen.
Good morning. So we are looking at a project at 1114 Del Sol Avenue. The applicant is requesting two modifications today. One is an interior setback modification to allow first floor window openings within the required 6-foot easterly interior setback. The second modification is interior setback mod to allow a bedroom and a laundry room addition to encroach in the required 6-foot required interior setback. And then a change of use from a garage to habitable space within the setback. And then, so it's just this little area within the westerly setback. So this is an 8,949 square foot site, and it's developed with a one-story single-family residence with a covered front porch, a rear covered patio, and then an attached one-car garage. The proposed project involves an interior remodel in addition to a conversion of the one-car garage into habitable space for a bedroom and laundry room area, a small addition at the rear, and then proposing a replacement for that one covered parking space at the front of the residence. This project is exempt from design review. Looking at the easterly interior setback request, it requires a modification because of the first floor window openings. The applicant is proposing to move the chimney around to create a better floor space, and in that process, requesting to just move the location of some of the windows that are in the non-conforming setback. It is setback 5 feet 7 inches from the lot line. So it's not really, it didn't qualify for non-conforming alterations because the location of the windows did move. But otherwise, staff is supportive of this particular request because there's such minor changes. It is just to create a better floor plan so that the chimney is centered as opposed to being a little bit further towards the front of the residence. And we don't anticipate any kind of privacy concerns. The neighbors, the adjacent property has a fence along on their property that would block any kind of view. So again, privacy is not necessarily a major concern, and there are no door openings necessarily. In terms of the other interior setback modification request, this is again to allow the conversion of this garage into a bedroom and laundry room area, and then a small addition at the back. You'll see it kind of follows the line of the existing development, which again, it's a 5 foot 4 inch setback, so it encroaches just 8 inches into this required setback just to conform to the line of development here. So staff is also supportive of this particular modification request, not only because it falls in line, but the applicant isn't proposing any kind of windows or doors within this area. And then for the proposed garage, creating the new garage, that's actually conforming to the 6 foot setback. So there are no issues there. We looked at going out on the site visit to kind of see what kind of impact this would be from the street. There's plenty of, in terms of the pattern of development in the neighborhood, there are other examples of single car garage or 2 car garages that are at the front of the residence. And we kind of appreciated the fact that the request for the mod is in the back, so it's not really going to be much of an impact from the street view, and is barely any impact to this adjacent neighbor because of the fencing along this line as well. And again, no windows are proposed in this area. This is exempt from CEQA under 15301 for existing facilities, as well as 15305 for minor alterations to land use. This project is located in the non-appealable jurisdiction of the coastal zone and qualifies for a single-family residence exemption, coastal exemption. And we haven't received any public comment by phone call or email on this project.
Okay, great, thank you. Would you like to state your name for the record and provide additional comments?
James Bell. I'm the architect and applicant or agent.
Okay.
Yeah, what we'd like to do is to make improvements to this house that was built in 1953 and added to in 1962. And they have 2 boys that share a room now. Now they have 2 bedrooms for them as they get older. They're approaching high school age, so.
Less fights.
Yeah, that's right. And also, just changing the look at the front of the house and bringing and improving the roofing and the lighting. So that's really the intention of what we're doing. And it is a tight lot for the house. And the house really needs to stay where it is. There's a change in elevation right here. So this is really their open yard or usable open yard. So they have this nice patio in the back that they enjoy. And so we don't really want to push any further into here. Mm-hmm. And we don't really want to push any further into the front yard either. So that's sort of the rationale for what we're trying to do.
Okay, great. I noticed this note here, fireplace, but I didn't see any on the floor plan. Is there a proposed fireplace in there or no?
No, I don't see that. I think that it's just an errant
That
note.
seems new to me.
haven't
too.
seen
No,
that.
I think maybe that accidentally got added to
Okay, no, that's fine.
It's like it got flipped from that side.
Yeah, it could be. And then the other question escapes me right now. Okay. That was just my question, so that was all just a,
I do have one question.
Sure.
About the process, because our next step is to submit the building.
correct.
And on this plan,
Mm-hmm.
I relocated this fireplace so it's in the center of this room.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what we've also done, and I've worked through the first preliminary structural.
Okay.
So what we've done on this, since the house was built back in the 50s, and a lot of the structure where we're changing it is going to rely on this line of structure.
Okay.
I've moved it out 8 inches so that we can put it in a new footing
Mm-hmm.
and strong walls and that type of thing. And in that case, we put windows on either side of this window
Mm-hmm.
or on either side of the fireplace. We've been looking at things, and what the owner would like to consider is pulling these windows into the corner. So I'm wondering if if there's any issue with us doing that.
Well, being this is not in the front setback, there'd be
Right.
no issues here.
Okay.
The issue would be here. I would, if that ends up being what occurs, and if you end up getting approval today, which you can do is request a substantial conformance determination.
Okay.
And have staff look at that to see if it substantially conforms with whatever decisions made today.
Oh,
And-
very well.
Yeah,
Okay.
so and if they say no, then your options is to ask them, can you bring it to one of these meetings for a discussion and direction from me to them? But the staff, substantial
Okay.
conformance determinations is totally, solely a staff's level.
Okay, great.
And then if it's not, you just come back and ask for a revised mod.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, if
Very
it's
good.
just a minor change in location
Yeah,
here.
I'm just sliding it over about 18 inches.
Now you're moving the whole wall up?
No, well,
Okay.
the wall on the is going to be up 8 inches, just so that we can have a new structure line, a new line
Okay,
of
was that
structure.
part of the mod request?
Well, the original mod request, we had popped this out and put this into the center, and then we came back with a revision to it where where I pulled this wall back and moved, instead of pushing this wall out, I moved the fireplace to the center of the room. So, and then we maintained this front line.
Okay.
But so what this would do is it would move out 8 inches, but it's so that we can accommodate strong walls. Otherwise, what we have to do is we have to demo this out and rebuild it.
If it's actual floor area extending out this way, the mod that was noticed, let me see what the mod says, because that would be a different thing with changing, it might be, let's see. Yeah, what was noticed says to allow alterations of the first floor window openings within the required 6-foot easterly interior setback. And then on this side, it was noticed as actually a building addition. So pushing it out 8 inches, that wasn't covered in the notice today. There's one of two things. You can see if you wanted to do that, or we can continue it and do a new notice in order for you to allow it to extend 8 inches out.
Okay. The other option is to pull it back. Just pull it back to where it is here.
Yeah.
And revise it that way.
Yeah, if it's just the front wall and you're changing the windows, that could be found in substantial conformance. If there was a modification that was noticed to extend the floor area here or even anywhere within this interior setback, that same type of process you could start with first. Go to staff and say, is this still in substantial conformance with what the staff hearing officer approved? And if it's not, then either request to go to just comments or to get a new mod. So since it wasn't noticed as new floor area on this side,
Okay, because the original proposal showed it popped out here. And then I remember, and then we decided, no, I don't want to pop, we decided we didn't want to pop it out here, so we would pull it back. And I was just getting the impression that we had already essentially included that in
well,
that
since you
process.
revised it and what you decided to go forward with took
Right.
that out. That's why we don't notice
Okay.
what the original project is that you request. It's just what's the final decision that you want to bring before the staff hearing officer, and then that's what's actually noticed.
Okay. Very good. Then at this point, I think we'll keep it the way it is right here.
Okay.
And then we'll decide what we want to do. If we want to go out 8 inches, then we have to do another noticing. on
Yeah,
that.
get another hearing, yeah,
Oh, okay.
for that new mod.
Okay.
So, may I ask a clarification question? So, if they, like, I'm just concerned about like requesting an entirely new mod. If we, if you make a decision today and you close the hearing, then you would have to come in for a new mod entirely. But if you, like, correct me, if you continued it today and didn't get a final decision, you could request to add that to the existing mod, and then you wouldn't have to pay for a new mod. Is that accurate? Or we just lump it in all one? Does that make sense?
Yes, that would be something between you and Allison to decide, because
Okay.
I'm not involved in any aspect of the project beforehand. So that would be a supervisor's decision, whether it changed it enough to require additional fees,
Okay.
because it would involve additional work on your part in
Right.
terms of the staff report.
Okay.
But in terms of timing, it would be faster just to continue it and have it on than asking for the whole new mod. But
That's what I just wanted
Oh,
you all to
okay.
be clear of in terms
Right.
of decision. So, the fee could be a separate conversation, but if it's something that you're really interested in pursuing, then it might be better to request the continuance. But
What about time?
Yeah, what
what's
would be the timing?
impact
on-
of timing
Time.
for either?
well, do you already have it would be a month, because we can't notice it for the next hearing. It requires a 10-day public, so the soonest it would be is a month, 2
Okay.
meetings from now.
And I mean, I've already looked at
Right.
one set the first time you brought it in, and I feel comfortable moving forward. But from a timing perspective, so I think Susie's right that I could get it back on the agenda in a month.
Okay, so it could be on for the 28th of September, or approximately.
Yeah, as
Well, I
long as
would
it's
have
not
to
full. Yeah, as long as the agenda's not full, which I don't know about that either. But it would be, because doing a whole new mod would be the same process you went through
Right.
to be able to
Right.
get here.
We don't, that's definitely not what we want to do.
No.
But
So do we need to make a decision right now, or?
we do.
Yes, you would.
I mean, what's the major impact? Is just a loss of size?
Well, what we would need, this is what it was, is just to be able to maintain the integrity of the edge of the concrete and the footing, just come outside of it, so that we could put deeper hold
So
downs.
am I losing space internally or externally?
Neither.
No, if we leave it the same.
If we leave it the
Oh.
same, we lose 8 inches of interior.
8 inches of interior. How do you feel about that?
I don't want to lose interior space.
I think it's not an extension, it's a
Yeah, can continue it, yeah.
I think
Continuous.
continuous is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we would be able to then just submit to building with our plans after that hearing. Is that correct?
Yeah, at your own risk, because there's a 10-day appeal period.
Yeah, right,
So I'd be putting all the money in with the engineering plans and all that. So
right,
that's
right.
just,
We're in that process.
yeah, so it's at your risk.
Okay.
So, okay, so, all right, so then I will continue it indefinitely, because we do need to do a new public notice in order for the additional modification. The other option is if you want, we can take like a 5-minute recess if you guys want to talk about it more, just to make sure that's what you want to do. Would that be more comfortable to take a 5-minute recess?
I think I don't want to sacrifice any internal space.
Okay.
I don't think that's where we want to ultimately go.
Right.
So,
I think they,
there's a whole lot.
I think they continued it is good. I think we're still in our, I think we're still in our range of
Fine?
Time range,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, well, great, then I'm, Oh, thank you. So I'd like to open the public comment and see no one. That's why I forgot. Have we received any? You said we haven't received any up to today. Did we receive any this morning? Okay, so I'll close the public hearing. So I will continue this indefinitely, or I continue indefinitely since it needs a new mod. We are subject to the Permit Streamlining Act, so if the additional information and that doesn't occur, I will need to take some kind of action prior to October 17th. So just to let you know,
Sure.
because of the timeline.
Okay.
All right, great. So I adjourn the meeting.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.